Today we're going to make rhubarb pie my way. For that you need rhubarb. You can buy it fresh or you can buy it frozen. Or maybe you have a garden and it is summer and there is some rhubarb. It's a very ugly plant, so it's better eaten than looked at. First we need to cut the rhubarb into little bits. This one was frozen and it comes in big chunks, which I have to downsize. What we need is 2 pounds of rhubarb, 3 eggs, 8 ounces of cream, 6 ounces of flour, 7 ounces of sugar, and 3 ounces of butter. We'll start with preheating the oven to 400, and then I'll put 6 ounces of flour, 3 ounces of caster sugar, I prefer the brown sort, and 3 ounces of butter into my beautiful K-mix bowl. We'll just add an egg, a whole egg. And that's basically it. We can start our engine. If you don't have a nice red mixer, just start using a spoon and eventually your hands, or put the kids to work if they can be trusted with it. And when they are done, what you should get is a nice dough like this. Butter a 10-inch baking pan, and again, if you have kids, this is something they can get their hands dirty with. Doesn't really matter if you end up with too much butter in the pan. Dust your countertop with flour, don't overdo it like me, and roll out your dough. You can also, if you don't want to do this, dust your pan, flatten your dough into a disc, put it directly into the pan, and then spread it out with your fingers. Anyway, it has to be the right size, so we'll measure. And then the trick is to roll your dough onto your rolling pin, like this. Lots of flour does help there. And then we just roll it out again into the tin. That's easy. Cut off the edges. And if there are some holes, you can just put the leftovers in there and give it a nice shape. It's going to be a bit rustic, but I don't really mind that. There, last bit. And now let's take care of our rhubarb. We'll douse it with sugar, just so, about half of the leftover sugar. This is something that the kids can do, they'll love it, getting their hands in there. Rhubarb, especially the frozen kind, will draw some moisture that you may have to throw out. To the side, we'll break 2 eggs into a bowl. Then add the rest of our sugar, that'll be about 2 ounces, caster sugar, and whisk them a little bit. Then we'll just add the cream, and don't whisk it too much, shouldn't get too airy. There, that's about right. Using a fork, we'll punch some holes into the dough, and then spread our little bits of rhubarb onto this dough. This is the point where moisture is not going to be that welcome, otherwise the dough is going to go soggy and the pie is not going to bake well. There, that looks about right. Now we'll pour our sort of custard, one may say, over the rhubarb. You can also mix both to the side and then pour them in, but really be careful of the moisture of the rhubarb. It shouldn't be too soggy. Spread this out. Don't worry if it isn't perfect, because it's going to go liquid while it cooks and spread out naturally. Voila, that's it. Off it goes into the oven, 400 degrees Fahrenheit, 200 degrees centigrade, for a first 20 minutes. Set your alarm, because 20 minutes later, we'll lower the heat to 350 and give it another 20 minutes. And this is what it should look like after a total baking time of 40 to 45 minutes, depending on your oven. There we are. The pie is out of the oven. The only thing missing is my friends to eat it with me. This is my favorite pie of all pies. It's absolutely perfect. It's slightly sour, slightly sweet, slightly creamy. It is absolute perfection. Some children don't like it because it is a bit sourish, but I, as a child, absolutely loved it, and I still do. I hope you do too.